Hello and welcome to the second part in this mini tutorial on slots. In this second part, we'll be considering issues of inheritance and how we can make sure that we incorporate slots in the most efficient manner possible. I'll assume knowledge from part 1. Let's import getSizeOf from sys and then create a simple slotted class. We'll instantiate it and assign a simple list to the cities attribute. If we wanted to create a subclass of planet, in this case Earth, there are several things that we should bear in mind if we want to maintain the slotted behavior. If our subclass doesn't define slots at all, then any objects of this subclass will still have an instance dictionary. After assigning a list to cities and a list to time zones, if we then inspect the instance dictionary again, we can see that only the time zones attribute is in the instance dictionary. This means that if you subclass a slotted class and do not define Dundas slots in the subclass, the attributes which were defined in Dundas slots in the parent class will continue to be slotted in any object created from the subclass, but you will still be able to create any attribute you like, and any attribute not defined in Dundas slots will go into the instance dictionary. Let's try that again, but this time, in the subclass, we'll assign an empty tuple to Dundas slots. If you want to maintain the behavior that we saw when we were creating slotted classes without inheritance, namely to restrict the possible attributes to only those defined in Dundas slots, then you need to assign an empty sequence to Dundas slots when defining the subclass. Here, we confirm that behavior to be true by seeing that our instance, slotted inherited, has no instance dictionary, and if we try to assign 1 to the X attribute, we get an attribute error. If you would like your instances to be dynamic with respect to being able to create any attributes you like, you aren't using inheritance, and you have some attributes in mind that you would like to be slotted, then you can include dunderdict in the attributes that you define to slots. Let me show you. We've assigned X and dunderdict to slots here in the class dynamic Earth. We've created an instance dynamic slotted and assigned the value 1 to the attribute X and 2 to Y. When we inspect the instance dictionary, we can see that only Y is in the instance dictionary. This is similar to the behavior that we saw when we created a subclass that inherited from a class that defined Dundas slots, but then missed out defining Dundas slots entirely in the subclass. One thing to be very careful of is not to assign the same attribute to Dundas slots in both parent and subclass. Here, our base class includes X in Dundas slots, and our redundant slots class, which inherits from base, has also included X, in addition to Y. This won't give you any errors, but it does mean that your objects will take up more space than they need to. In this extremely simple example, we can see that our instance takes 8 more bytes than necessary. In a very large code base, it's important not to use slots unless absolutely necessary. One problem can arise in multiple inheritance. Our child class here inherits both from parent A and parent B. When both parents include a non-empty Dundas slots, then you'll get a type error when attempting to define the child class. If you have this problem and you would like instances of parent A, parent B, and the child class, then one of the parents has to have Dundas slots defined with an empty tuple or list. If it's possible to abstract away the parents, then this is one solution. I'm demonstrating these examples on Python 3.8, but if you're using older versions of Python and you're attempting to pickle instances of your slotted classes, then be aware that there are several protocols for pickling, and that these have evolved over the years. If you get issues when attempting pickling, then these are readily solvable by telling Python which pickling protocol to use. The protocols go from 0 to 5 and are passed as the second argument when using pickle.dumps. I hope this whistle-stop tour of slots has been helpful, and as always, I would very much welcome your feedback. Please like and subscribe if you found this useful, and do let your colleagues know. If you have any requests, then please let me know in the comment section so that I can tailor these to be as helpful to you as possible.